Hilton has been expanding rapidly across South Asia, achieving a record-breaking 2024 with new openings and signings. Joining me today is the Senior Vice President, Regional Head, South Asia Hilton, Zubin Saxena. Hi Zubin, thank you so much for joining me today.
It's a pleasure to have you, Dimple.
So, reflecting on Hilton's growth in South Asia, especially in this specific year, what are the key milestones or, achievements that stood out for you in 2024? And how do these milestones, align with the Hilton's long-term strategy in the region?
Well, it has been a phenomenal year for us. It has been a very exciting year. We are well on track to triple our existing and operating portfolio by 2027. And as we speak today, we have crossed the milestone of 50 hotels, operating and under development. In fact, our under development pipeline is exceeding our operating pipeline. And in the next 2 to 3 years, we are looking at opening nearly 25 hotels. Currently we are operating in 15 markets in India, and that market footprint will increase to nearly 35 to 40 markets in the next 3 to 4 years. And ultimately, from our perspective, we want to grow throughout India across all tier 1, 2 and 3 markets, across all religious destinations, across your leisure holiday destinations, right? So I see the Hilton footprint in India to grow to nearly 100 markets in the next 7 to 10 years. That's the way forward for us for the future. And this year has been a year of great milestones. We opened our first flagship hotel in Nepal. So from a South Asia perspective, which for us is India, Nepal, Bhutan, right, and Bangladesh. So we are entering new markets, and we are entering new markets with our flagship brands, and which are being amazingly well received. So it's been a fantastic year for us so far.
So wherever we go, we see Hilton everywhere, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Wow, that's great. So you recently, onboarded Deepika Padukone as your global brand ambassador. Could you also, share some of the key commercial highlights of the year so far?
Great. So we've had quite a few actually this year. So apart from Deepika, who became Hilton's one of our global brand ambassadors, we also tied up with Siddharth Malhotra recently for a Hilton for the Stay campaign, right? Then Indian weddings is a big market, and you must have heard of a very popular campaign called Wed in India, which is gaining momentum, and we truly believe in the Indian wedding market and the Indian wedding story. So we launched our own campaign around it, the Hilton Wedding Diaries, and that was launched earlier in the year, the second quarter, and that has been very well received. So these are a few, and of course we also did our out of home campaign, with our presence across key cities, Delhi, Bangalore, Mumbai, and that has received several million visits and footprints. So that's those are some of the things that we have done. Over and above, we do believe in the technology aspect, and we do believe in going digital and being accessible to our guests, right? And we most recently launched the WhatsApp the WhatsApp initiative by Hilton, right? And it is one of the first initiatives by such a large global brand, and we have been able to make WhatsApp our unique messaging platform, where we are being able to talk to our guests and our customers directly through that platform. So there's lots happening, lots more to come, and we are just about getting started.
Wow, that's amazing. So since you've mentioned that in terms of technology you're advancing, you're thinking of ideas, innovations that nobody else have thought of. So as we approach 2025, how do you see the role of technology and innovation, evolving in Hilton's guest?
I think a huge role. Tell me, I'll ask you a question. You are interviewing me, but I'll ask you a question. You walk into a hotel, right? And instead of going to the front desk asking for a key, your key actually lands on your phone.
Yeah.
Then you walk into the elevator, right? And the elevator senses the key on your phone and it unlocks and takes you to your floor, right? And then you walk into your room. Well, actually, you don't walk into your room. You go to the doorstep of your room and the room senses the digital key on your, and so that's something which we have done amazingly well. The digital key is a Hilton first, right? So then we move to Kipsu, which is our unique messaging platform with our guests. So our guests are able to communicate with us in our hotels through WhatsApp and through the Kipsu platform, and the response times are really fast. And the guest feedback that we've been receiving is amazing. Our guest experience scores as a result of some of these technologies, have really improved in some places, and I think there's lots more to come on this. Yeah.
No, so you rightly mentioned, I think one good thing that you mentioned about is the keyless experience, which is very important. Why? Because most of the times, people tend to lose their keys here and there. So I think that's a brilliant initiative that you've taken. So Zubin, looking ahead, what are Hilton's strategic priorities in 2025? Are there any specific markets or segments you are particularly excited about?
Yes, that's a great question, Dimple. Of course, we have huge strategic plans to grow in India and South Asia as a market. I mentioned earlier on in our discussion that we are indeed looking at venturing into nearly 75 to 100 markets across India and South Asia as a destination. These markets will comprise of key cities, of course, and tier 1, tier 2 state capitals, tier 3 markets, tourist leisure destinations, religious markets, so on and so forth. Our view on our strategic expansion plans for India are guided by the traveling behavior of our guests and how they want to visit those markets. So I'll explain. For instance, in Jaipur, we have last year, and it's a lovely hotel. It's Waldorf Astoria that's coming up and will open by 2027, right? And that so we are looking at our luxury brands to come in top markets, top key cities, a Delhi or a Mumbai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, and also markets which can support that kind of a traveling propensity. So, for instance, I spoke about the Waldorf Astoria in Jaipur. We've just recently this year signed a Conrad in Jaipur, and so on and so forth. Thereafter, we are now, as the year will progress, we are looking to expand our key flagship brand, Hilton, across the country. So I would imagine a Hilton hotel in each and every state capital, right? And including, we are just going to be opening one lovely, nearly 250 room Hilton in Gurgaon, which is going to happen now in the next 30 to 60 days, right? So the Hilton brand, the flagship Hilton brand, will grow through the length and the breadth of the country, through state capitals, to tier 1 markets, and so on and so forth. Then as we go down the pyramid, right, and we go into tier 2 and tier 3 cities and towns, we will be very keen to expand our focus service brands. These are the brands which are apt for markets which are growing and which have a longer runway ahead of them, right? So tier 2, tier 3 markets like a Baroda or an Indore, these are the kind of markets where these, and of course, all of these brands would also be just apt for more developed, deep markets like the top 10 markets such as Delhi or Mumbai or Bangalore, right? DoubleTree by Hilton, of course, is a brand which has really grown through the country in many, many locations, and which is providing growth in an upscale segment, right? Then as we progress, and we very just recently launched the Hilton Trends Report, right? And it talks about the traveling preferences of our guests and how we see them evolving in the near future and the not so near in the midterm. And we are noticing that there is a great propensity for the travelers, and especially the younger travelers, towards lifestyle products. And that's where we are looking to launch brands such as the Curio collection, right? And we have at this point in time one Curio collection hotel coming up in Bangalore. There are a few others under consideration. But lifestyle hotel brands will continue and will continue to grow and continue to thrive in this market, right? So we are looking at Curio. We are looking at some of our other lifestyle brands to come into India, and that provides us with a very full brandscape, which goes from our core Hilton branded portfolio to some of these lifestyle oriented brands. And we are that's how we are seeking to grow this grow our brandscape in India. There's another point I want to make on this, because beyond the brands is also how the development formats will emerge for Hilton, right? And for us, we are of course governed by the opportunity and the viability of the project in itself, and what in that particular situation would make the most sense to do. So we for our luxury brands, our full service brands, are driven primarily by management agreements, right? We would like to manage those hotels for the most part. Of course, we would be open-minded about selectively franchising with the right partners, especially our Hilton and our upscale brands like DoubleTree. We'd be very open-minded about selectively franchising around those brands. But some of the focus service brands, right, like Hilton Garden Inn or Hampton by Hilton, we are very open-minded about doing large platform, selective license agreement deals on those brands, right? So it is going to be governed by viability. It is going to be governed by different growth models, and we want to ultimately be viewing the growth lens through the prism of practicality and viability in the South Asia market.
Right, yeah. Great strategy.
Thank
I
you.
think there, and a great deal of effort that's going to put things into place. My next question is, in the recent years, MICE meetings, incentives, conferences, and exhibitions, and of course weddings, as
Yes.
you mentioned about earlier, have played a significant role in driving hospitality demand in India. And how is Hilton leveraging these segments for growth, and what are your expectations from these specific segments in 2020?
Sure. There's been a huge infrastructural growth in India, as we've seen, with large MICE meeting convention facilities coming up, be it in Mumbai or be it in Delhi, and elsewhere in India, the large convention centers coming up. There has been a big focus on the social elements of our business. I think meetings will always be a key segment. Weddings will always be a key segment. And India, as a destination, is also becoming the global hub for international visitations, for international guests to come in and hold large scale events. So we are playing to that segment in a big way. We have hotels coming up and under consideration, which will be catering to that segment of the market. So hotels with large convention centers, where we can in fact host exhibitions, where we can in fact host large weddings, where we can do car launches, where we can do auto shows. So that's a big segment, and I think with the way infrastructural growth is happening, with the way India is becoming a business and a social hub, that sector will continue to grow.
Absolutely. So one more question I would like to ask you, Zubin, is that you won awards for your culture.
Yes.
So how do you, maintain that inclusive culture? What are the steps that you've been taking to, uplift the culture of your organization?
Yes, we are incredibly proud of having the honor of being India's best workplace for 2 years in a row. And as much as we are proud of our other accomplishments with regards to our growth story and our performance, the Hilton culture story is something that we really look up to, and that is what this organization is all about. It's very inclusive culture, so we are obviously have a lot of initiatives around gender diversity, women in leadership, inclusivity. All of these are key Hilton initiatives at our hotels and even at the corporate office, right? That's these are key focus areas for us. We do believe in growing our teams from within. So there is a great number of internal success stories, and all of them are centered around building an organizational culture that where people can thrive and they can feel trusted and they can feel supported and they can grow. There are so many colleagues I know who've spent nearly 3 to 4 decades at Hilton. They have grown with Hilton over the years, and proudly so. So that's a great achievement, and we do aspire to continue the efforts on that.
Wow, that's great, and I think that's the reason for your growth, and that's why we've been seeing Hilton expand, and it all comes from within, and it's great to see you take such initiatives. Thank you so much for joining me, Zubin.
Thank you, Dimple. Thank you for your time.